Okay, so the things that you're going to need is you're going to need your worsted weight yarn. If you're going to be doing 2 colors like I am, you're going to need 1 full skein of your main color and then just a small portion of your secondary color. But any worsted weight yarn will work. You don't have to do 2 colors. You could do 1 color, you could do a variegated color or a striping or anything like that. It's totally up to you. But as long as you have the amount that you need in worsted weight yarn, you'll be fine. You're going to need a 5mm crochet hook. You're also going to need a stitch marker of some sort. This is just going to act as a reminder that we're going to place it on the side that we do our increases and our decreases on. It doesn't really serve any purpose other than just to remind us that that is the side that we do those on and not on the other side. Because one side is completely straight all the way up, and the other side is the side that we do our increases and decreases on. So that will just remind us that that's the side that we need to do that on. You're going to also need all of your normal notions, your scissors, your yarn needle, all that good stuff. So I have already completed 1 panel. So this is what it looks like. This is actually going to be my stocking. So I chose pink and white, and we are just doing a the basic stocking today. So you can actually take this pattern and pretty much do anything that you want to. The cabled stocking that I did for my husband was still made off of the same basic pattern. I am working on getting that one rode up too, so it will be available probably through my shop once I do get it written up. But yeah, so it's a super simple. It doesn't take very long, but we start down here at the bottom, and we're going to slowly increase, and then we're going to decrease, and then we're going to work on just the leg, which is really simple. It's just 25 stitches of double crochet back and forth up until we get to the cuff portion, which the cuff portion is the last 3 rows. You could do more or less if you wanted for this cuff portion if you would like. I just chose to do the last 3 rows. Looking back on it now, it does look a little strange that the white is so short because I don't have any white anywhere else, but I think that I may seam the whole thing together with white, and that will tie everything in. But definitely you can do more rows of the ribbing if you would prefer. I'm thinking probably the last 5 rows would probably look really nice. But when I did it on my husband's stocking, which was all 1 color, I did the last 3 rows and it was perfectly fine. I think it's just because I have 2 different colors, and that's the reason why it looks a little odd. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with it. I'm not going to really worry about it right now. So to get started, you're going to need your main color. So mine is pink. And we're going to start with a slip knot. And we are going to chain 38. And you want to make sure they're even chains. You don't want some really tight and some loose, so try and be as even as possible. Alright, so there's 38. And we are going to start with a double crochet into this first chain. As you guys know, I do not do chain 2s or 3s. I go directly in with whatever stitch that I'm using. So double crochet into that first chain and every chain across. And we are working, I have that glitter from that Christmas wreath everywhere, and I keep finding more and more of it every time I come out here. So we are working into the back loop of the chains, so that'll give us a nice neat edge to work with. Okay, so go ahead and finish out all of your double crochets, and I will meet up with you when I'm at my last one. Okay, so I've completed all of my double crochets, and I finished my last stitch here. So I'm going to chain one and turn, and in that first stitch I'm going to put 2 double crochets for an increase. And we're going to place our stitch marker right there on this side, because that's our increase and decrease side. So because the other side of our work will be completely straight up and down, we're never going to increase or decrease on that side. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across. So you have your 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in every stitch to the end. So go ahead out and finish out all of your double crochets, and then I will meet up with you when I have finished my last one. Okay, so I'm to my last stitch here, and it's going to look a little weird because this is our first double crochet off of the chain. So just put 1 double crochet in it, and don't worry about what it looks like, it's fine. We're going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, so we are going to put 1 double crochet into that beginning stitch, and then 1 double crochet in every stitch until the end. When in the last stitch we're going to put an increase. So once again, that was 1 double crochet in the beginning stitch and every stitch across until the last stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the last stitch for an increase. Okay, so we're to our last stitch, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in it. And we know we're right because this is the end that has our stitch marker on it. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in that beginning stitch and in every stitch across, and we are going to do that for this row and the next row. So 1 double crochet in every stitch. So go ahead and put 1 double crochet in every stitch on this row, chain 1 and turn, and then put 1 double crochet in every stitch on that row. So that is row 4 and 5 that are just plain double crochets in every stitch. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet up with you when I am done with the end of my 5th row. Okay, so I've completed row 4 and row 5, and now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to start our decreases. So we're going to decrease the first 2 stitches. So we're going to go into that first stitch just like we were going to do a double crochet, and we're only going to go through 2 loops. We're going to leave the 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and go through the second stitch just like we were going to do a double crochet. Yarn over and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through 3 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So that decreased 2 stitches to 1. And then we're just going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch till the end. And if it helps, you can move this marker up as you go. So go ahead and put 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way to the end, and then I will meet you when I have completed all of mine. Okay, so I've completed my row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last 2 stitches, and then we're going to decrease those 2. So 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last 2. Okay, so here's my last 2 stitches. Nope. So here's my last 2 stitches. This last one's going to look like it's 2, but we decreased that one, so keep that in mind. So we're just going to decrease these last 2 stitches, just like I showed you before. So just like that. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And the next couple sets of rows are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to decrease the first 4 stitches because we want the tip of our stocking to be more round than kind of squarish. So we're going to decrease the first 4 stitches. So here's the first 2. Decrease the first 2 down to 1, and then we're going to decrease the next 2. So just like that, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch till the end. And what this is going to do is it's going to make our toe more rounded than square. So, and that's what we want, a round toe for our stocking. Okay, so chain 1 and turn. And for this row, we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last 2 stitches, and we are going to decrease those 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last 2. Okay, so I'm to my last 2 stitches, so we're going to decrease those. Chain 1 and turn. And we're going to decrease the first 4 stitches again. So we're going to decrease the first 2. And then the next 2. And then 1 double crochet in every stitch until the end. Okay, here's my last stitch, so 1 double crochet in it, chain 1 and turn. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last 2 stitches, and then in the last 2 stitches we're going to decrease those. So 1 double crochet in every stitch until the last 2. So I'm at my last 2 stitches, so I'm going to decrease those. Chain 1 and turn. So we're just going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across. Okay, so here's my last stitch. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and we are done with the foot portion of our stocking. So now you can take your little stitch marker. So from your straight side, you're going to count over 25 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now just put your little stitch marker there. And that's just going to remind you that that's where you're going to turn from now on. So we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch until our stitch marker. And we are going to start working on the leg portion of our stocking. And then your last stitch will be the 25th stitch, and you can go ahead and remove your stitch marker because you won't need it anymore. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. So for rows 14 through 26, you are going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across, turn, put 1 double crochet in every stitch, and repeat that from row 14, which is the row that you were just getting ready to start, through 26. So once again, that's 1 double crochet in every stitch. Okay, so that was my last stitch. Now you're just going to chain 1 and turn, and you're going to repeat that until you're finished your 26th row. So if you've lost count, you can always count back from the beginning. It's very easy to be able to count. So once you have a total of 26 rows, then we're going to work on the ribbing portion. So go ahead and finish that, and I will catch up with you when I have completed my 26th row. So you should have finished your entire leg portion of your stocking. And now we're going to start working on the little ribbed cuff. So this is the one I completed already. It looks like this. If you're doing it in one color, it would, it looks a lot better than what it is with the 2 colors here. Like I had said before, if I had realized it, I would have done the cuff 2 rows prior. So just to keep in mind, the last 2 rows of the leg portion I would have converted to the cuff portion, so just so the cuff is a little bit wider. But since I already have it done this way, this is how I'm going to show you how to do it. So I have my pink yarn still attached, and you're just going to yarn over and pull that loop through and fasten off. So just like that. You can start your ribbed portion on either side, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and flip mine over just so I can work over this tail as I'm going. So I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'm going to attach it at the top of this first double crochet here. So with just a slip stitch, and each one of our first double crochet and our last double crochet are just going to be regular double crochets. They're not going to be post stitches. So we have a nice, neat, even edge. So we're just going to go into that first double crochet with one double crochet, and then we're going to do a back post double crochet around the next stitch, and then a front post around the next stitch, and we worked over our tails for this first double crochet. It really doesn't do anything to work over it for the post stitches, but we'll come back and take care of that in a little bit when we're finished. So the next stitch is going to be a front post double crochet, and then a back post double crochet, and we're going to repeat that until the end. And then your last stitch, remember, we're going to just put one regular double crochet into it. And that's just going to give us a neater edge to be able to work into when we're doing our seam. So we're going to chain one and turn. And put one double crochet into that first stitch. And now we're just going to, because we've turned, all of our front posts are going to be back posts, and all of our back posts are going to be front posts. So we're just going to follow our little pattern here, and what's in front we're going to do front post on, and what's in back we're going to put back post on, and we're going to do that for this row and the next row. So just one front post around the next stitch, and then around the next stitch one back post, and it will change again when we turn. So just look at your stitches. The stitches that are in front, you're going to do front post on. The stitches that are in back, you're going to do back post on. So we're just going to do that all the way across. And then you have one front post here. It kind of looks like it's all jumbled together, but you do have one last front post, and then your double crochet on the very last stitch. And then we're going to chain one and turn, and this is our last row, and we're going to just repeat that. So one double crochet in the first stitch, and then our next stitch is a back post double crochet, and then your last post stitch is a back post double crochet, and then we have our regular double crochet in the last stitch. Now, depending on what color you're going to use to seam up your stocking, you may want to fasten off here if you're going to use a different color than what the cuff is. I'm going to go ahead and use white to seam my entire stocking with. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave my loop on here. And I'm going to put my two sides together, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that top of that double crochet on the other stocking, and I'm just going to draw my loop through that side. So just like that. And that's just to get my loop on the right side of the work. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into that stitch on both sides and do a single crochet, and then I'm going to work my way down the edge of the stocking. Of course, it will be easier when you actually have loops to go into, but through most of the side of the stocking you're going to be working into the side of the stitches, so just evenly space them as best as you can. I normally say 2 stitches per double crochet, just as a given rule. You can go ahead and do whatever it is that you normally do. So you're just going to work your way down the side of the stocking, putting one single crochet into every space that you find or that you make. So 2 double crochets in every 1 double crochet. I hope that made sense. And it doesn't have to be completely perfect. Just when you're working into the sides of the stitches, make sure you're grabbing at least 2 loops. Otherwise you'll have these big gappy holes, and you really don't want that. So you want to try and line up your rows as best as possible. So go ahead and work all the way around the stocking. When you come to the corner down here, you're going to want to put 2 single crochets in that last stitch. So I'll go ahead and work all the way down to the corner here, and then I'll meet up with you there. Okay, so I'm to the corner here. So I have 2 little tails here. I'm just going to tie together so they'll stay together as I work over them. And then in this corner space right here, we're going to put 2 single crochets. So it's going to be the top of this first double crochet on this row. So we're going to put 2 single crochets into that same stitch, and that will give us a nice rounded corner. And then you're just going to work your way across the rest of the row, just putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. I'm going to work over my tails as I'm doing that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to continue on across the row, and then on this corner you're going to do the same thing. In this very last stitch, you're going to put 2 single crochets, and then you're going to work your way up the other side. So I will meet up with you when you have worked your way all the way to the other part of your ribbing. So once again, 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to the corner, and in that corner stitch, which is the very last double crochet on both pieces, you're going to put 2 single crochets, and then you're going to put work your single crochet up the side as evenly as possible. Remember, I said about 2 single crochets per 1 double crochet, keeping your work nice and even all the way up till you're ribbing, and I will meet up with you there. Okay, so you should have finished doing your single crochet around the entire edge, and now here is my last stitch. So I'm going to put a single crochet into it, and then I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You could chain less or more depending on what type of hangers you have for your stockings. We have really tiny ones, so 6 will do for me. And then I'm going to slip stitch back into that stitch that we just worked into, and then I am going to fasten off. So you can cut your yarn and pull that through, and that is your little hanger. So if you have larger hooks for your hangers, just chain more, and then you do the same step as before. So you're going to want to go ahead and hide all of your tails, and you are finished. So that is the completed stocking. They're nice and big. I already have my husband's filled with all of his goodies. It's bulging, so they're plenty big enough to be able to stuff whatever you would like into them. And you can most definitely make a fabric lining for this if you would want. I had planned on doing that for a tutorial, and I've run out of time, so maybe next year I'll show you how to do that. But for now, this is just your basic stocking. You could take this basic stocking and do any stitch with it that you would like. You could do cabling, you could do decorative stitching, you could do different colors. The sky's the limit. So as always, I like to give you a kind of jumping point to where you have a basic pattern that you can use and pretty much do anything that you want to do with. So like I said, I think it's really nice, and I really like it, so I'm very happy to have it done for Christmas. So my husband will be able to stuff whatever goodies he's got for me in it, and I think it's really cute. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.